Hi, Ian Aldridge from Progressive Legal. Today, I wanted to talk to you about intellectual property dealing with contractors where they're not employees of the business. So any third parties for a business, the rule at law is that anyone that creates intellectual property, it's owned by them until they assign it over to somebody else or a business. So if you're getting a third party to design your logos or do content for you, or any type of intellectual property, if they're producing that work, then technically they own that intellectual property until they assign it formally over to you, and it's best for that to be done by way of either deed of assignment, some formal documentation which clearly has those words in it, and ultimately having that document to be able to prove if you ever need to enforce that intellectual property. If you're filing trademarks for logos and you don't have that intellectual property assigned over to you, you shouldn't be filing those trademarks, because technically you didn't own the trademark at the time that you didn't own the intellectual property underlying the trademark at the time that you're filing it. So best to have that deed of assignment first. It's really uncommon, and every time I tell people about this, they're very surprised. I say, well, I paid for it, isn't it mine? Well, no. The situation is it needs to be formally assigned over to you. There are some exceptions. Obviously, if you're owner of the business or employees of the business, then that intellectual property is automatically assigned to the company, to the business. However, any third parties, any outside contractors, branding agencies, marketing agencies, design, logos, anything from Upwork, etc., as you can appreciate, unless it's been formally assigned over to you, then you don't own it. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's one of a number of misconceptions out there in the marketplace. So having a deed of assignment is the best way to secure that intellectual property. We charge fixed fees for these types of documents, and we're happy to give you some advice about your intellectual property generally and trademarks in your business, and how to lock that stuff down. Okay, great, thanks. Hope it helped.